Today we have writer-director Allan Moyle, who is well known for Pump Up the Volume.
Everything's polluted. The environment
is the whole problem.
And he's trying to tell you that there's something wrong with this school.
You're not supposed to be
What do you want to slam me? Why not do something crazy? It makes a hell of a lot more sense.
You out there? You listening?
Empire Records.
Empire Records had the coolest jobs on earth.
Something happened to me last night in Atlantic City. Did you win anything? No, I did not.
5 friends have one day to decide what to do with the rest of their lives.
And today we're going to ask him about the music on his movies. Hello. Can you tell us how you can utilize music into films?
If I'm known for anything, it's for using songs rather than score. But I was hardly the first person to do that. My movies are 90% songs, called McCabe and Mrs. Miller, that had a soundtrack exclusively of Leonard Cohen songs. Not many people know the movie. It's an Allan movie, and I thought it was genius the way this one album, and I don't know what came first, the movie or the album, but I thought, wow, that's so cool, very poetic, very sweet, you know. And I mean, it dawned on me that you could have score, let's say violins, you know, wonderful, moving, uplifting scores to help the music along. And then you could overdo that, and then there would be and then you would feel that the music was pushing you or pulling you or hurting, basically, the story by overwhelming it. So then you had a backlash to that. And around the same time I saw McCabe and Mrs. Miller, I saw the movies. I first watched movies by John Cassavetes. So there was no sound, no score, no songs, no score, just people and silence. Silence, and that blew my mind, because silence is sometimes more powerful than a million violins. A movie I did recently called Weirdsville. I try to find places to put a song in the movie while we're shooting it. It makes it much easier, it makes it much more harmonious. That's another part of my technique. But the thing is, once you elect to go with songs, then you have to have the money. It was there in the budget at the beginning, it's not anymore. So then, and that's tricky. So even though I've asked the producers to put this money aside, and they've put it aside, very often that money has been disappeared by the time we get to it. And then they're asking me to do my style, scoring the movie with songs, without any money to buy the songs. But then what are you going to do? So, for example, in Weirdsville, a movie I did recently in Toronto about drug addicts in the snow.
What is your business is the 1700 you owe me,
It's actually...
but you can't pay.
What? Why would a millionaire keep his money at home?
He's a hippie. And I guess hippies don't believe in banks.
Dex, you're the quiet, introspective one.
Yeah.
Royce is the idea man.
Look, I'm gonna take a hit, and I'm gonna figure out what to do with it.
You know what your problem is? You have no ambition.
She's dead.
What do you mean she's dead?
I mean, she's not alive, man.
I used to run with that pack till they broke my balls and cracked my jack. Stone. Drug.
Still gonna call the cops?
Nope.
Where are we going?
We got work to do.
Those are all dollar cues. And a dollar cue is a song that's unknown. It's by an up-and-coming band, and you can buy it for $1 to lease their music to the movie.
For example, something like Man in the Mirror, Michael Jackson movie.
What? Are you nuts? You
see what's happening out there? You're amazing. It was an amazing show. They love you. And as long as they keep buying the albums, we love them.
It's not about the money, Ziggy.
Everything's about the money, Mike.
Not for me or for them. I sing for them and they cheer for me. It's about love.
Because it was not authorized, from the beginning you knew that you couldn't use any of Michael's songs. But what did you think when you were offered to that movie?
Well, when I signed on to do that movie, it's kind of a biopic of Michael Jackson. And of course I'm a huge fan of Michael Jackson and his music. But this movie concentrated mostly on his spiritual life and his private life. We were still hoping to get from Michael or from his people some kind of permission to do the movie and some kind of permission to buy rights to some of the songs, because the movie was so pro-Michael. But he'd been hurt so badly by people in the past abusing his name, and he probably suspected that this movie would make fun of him and the way others have. And in the end, his people did love the movie. His skin and the accusations against him of being a child lover, he didn't want it brought up. Well, we had to bring it up. But we're very, very, very pro-Michael. So the point being, we didn't need that many songs in the end. And it was very difficult. But this lacking Michael Jackson songs was just one of the many challenges. Another one was walking a thin line between what we wanted to say and what the family might sue us for saying. You know, unproven allegations, things like that. Because it was VH1, it was MTV. They're a big company. They wanted to avoid any kind of controversy and yet at the same time make a controversial movie. So business affairs was all over us.
When I was young, I was impressed with Times Square.
Times Square.
I don't see why we need to be famous.
You know a lot of things. I only know one thing, and it is that they're gonna see who I am.
Apathy, banality, boredom, television. But a new iconoclast has come to save us. It's the Sleaze sisters. It's Nikki and Pamela. Go to it, girls.
Get out of here! This is my place! You all leave visiting! Out!
This is Nikki Murata, famous murderer and entertainer. I'm throwing a concert tonight in Times Square to celebrate my escape from mental illness. Don't miss it.
It's coming together.
Pammy and Nikki found each other and themselves on the streets of New York. Now, the whole city is going to share their exhilaration. The venue will be Times Square.
Because I was a rock fan, rock and roll girl, and I was really impressed with the way you used the music. But I heard that you were fired at the end of the movie, when movie making. So can you tell us about this story?
Now, subsequently I've learned to invite the producers, the studio, and the distributors, and any financiers, all those four entities which outrank me. I invite them in earlier, rather than in exchange for not being pushed off at the end of 10 weeks. Goodbye, Alan, we're taking it over from now. So I wasn't so much fired as I was pushed further and further out of the command phase. And the producer of that movie and the distributor, they were a record company, RSO Records. So they thought they knew just as much about music as me. They owned a band called the Bee Gees. And earlier, when I was negotiating out with them, we discussed laughingly how bad the Bee Gees would stink up this movie. And yet, later, they made an economic choice to put Bee Gees in. They probably thought I put it in. You know, I mean, there were some other good songs, like the Ramones in there. So I won most of the battles. I had some good songs in there. Music has impacted my life, most magical part of all the arts. It's the easiest. Of all the arts, music has uplifted me more than any painting or ballet or poem. It's just so powerful. Now, can I play an instrument? Sorry. Can I even sing? No, I can't. But I still love to sing off key.
When do you listen to the music?
All the time.
Do you believe music can change the world or can help the people?
Hugely. All the great popular movements had theme songs. Or baseball. I was becoming a teenager. I was going from being a kid that hated girls to thinking girls were interesting and something was happening with them and I wasn't sure what. And there was a song by Gail Garnett, but a beautiful ballad, basically. And so I had, my sister's 45 RPM record player, and I took it into my room, and I took her version of it, and I played it over and over and over to myself. And kind of crying a little bit, or just experimenting with the feeling, and asking myself, oh, wow, what, you know, am I losing my mind, right? Am I becoming a girl? You know, I didn't know what was going on. All I knew was very powerful stuff. I was experimenting, and suddenly the door burst open, and my dad came in and grabbed the thing and threw it against the wall, because I had played it maybe 100 times, I don't know. And he was like, I'm not going to listen to that song one more time. But what he didn't know is his son was having a spiritual experience. And later it became a family joke.
Do you know anything about music therapy?
I've heard that it's an extremely powerful tool, and also that in Japan they play music to babies that are still unborn, and the results are amazing, and they've been doing it for long enough now that these graduates of this school called Kaikyo, where the kids are now older and measurable, and they're stronger, smarter, more balanced.
Music can change the world, music can help the people. Then, do you believe that the music can heal?
Yeah. They've played music to water, and then frozen the water and seen the crystals. And the crystals are beautiful or misshapen depending on what they're playing. So why wouldn't the human psyche? You know, we've got 12 strands of DNA, we're only using 2. What are the other 10 strands for? It's probably for deep stuff like understanding music. I mean, it's just obvious to me that music is therapeutic, and that you can heal people of cancer, anything, if they would just release themselves and listen to it, let themselves be healed.
Are you involved with any projects?
Well, I'm writing 2. The working title is Respect, and it's about a 30s guy who's a bit of a recluse, and he's invented himself as a recluse, but incapable of love, incapable of joy. All he does is work, and he's found a way to be happy in that very constricted way. Part of the plot of the movie is what was going on here. And it was all music-based, so this movie's going to have a fantastic soundtrack.